Hello and welcome to episode 23. Hello and welcome back. Back in episode 21 I think it was, we got some stuff back from the powder coaters. Now it's time to put us back on the engine. That's the timing chain cover, the alternator cover, and the oil pan. There's a bit of prep required, some seals to change and all that, so let's crack on with that. Okay, so the first two things I'm going to do is the oil pan and the timing chain cover, both of which require a gasket. In my magic box of gaskets, I got these, 1 and 2. Lovely. But the first thing to do is to prep the surfaces here, make sure they're super flat, with no bits of crap on them, especially this one. And I also have to take the old gaskets off the engine. I'll just show you those, 1 second. So this gasket off here, and then this gasket off here, which is quite heavily stuck on. I'll be using this, which is a nice broad chisel. It's actually quite blunt from a woodworking point of view, but it's perfect for this. A lot of care required, obviously, to scrape the gasket material off. And yeah, let's do that. Okay, I've already gone round with the chisel, just making sure that any stuff's off it. And I've also gone round with this little thing, which is a whetstone. I've just made sure that that's nice and flat. I know it is because I can see the hatchings again. If you can see those hatchings again? When it was originally machined, so quite pleased with that surface all the way around. And the same is true of the oil pan, and I'm really pleased with that surface as well. You can make that out, that's pretty good. Okay, next task is to get this gasket off the engine here, which should be fairly simple, he said. I'll zoom in a bit. Okay, so let's persuade this off. There you go. A quick close-up of that gasket surface. Oops. A little bit of corrosion in there, but it's actually quite rough actually. I'll just clean that up. So keeping it nice and flat there, you can see there's a little bit of gum coming off that surface. Can you see that? See that gunk on there? Focus, focus, focus. Anyway, I'll clean this up and then I'll use my whetstone just to make sure it's fully flat. There are some actually on this leading edge where it's had some impact from the road. There's a little bit of aluminium that's coming off especially there. Right, I'll clean this up. Next I'm gonna remove this one, which is a little more challenging as it has these studs here. Well, let's see how we fare. Look at that, beautiful. There you go. And then similarly, I'll give that a clean up. Bit of residue on there, as you can see. There's plenty comes off this supposedly flat surface. Beautiful. Bit of white spirit on a kitchen towel. So I can clean this last bit of this stuff off. Okay. So a quick look at the gasket I took off this oil pan. The unevenness of that tells me that it's actually probably a liquid gasket kind of thing rather than a paper one, because it's an odd shape. But whatever it is, we're replacing it with that one, which of course goes on dry. So making sure the sealing faces are really clean, dry, got no dings, chips, gouges or anything. They're super good. Okay, and then there are 14 bolts, all the same size. Someone told me once there was one that was shorter, which went in where the oil filter goes. That's not the case on this bike anyway. Right. Right, here's some all-important technical detail. There is a tightening sequence on these bolts, which is that. That's on page 157 of the climber. So we'll do them in that order. And then there's a torque specification on page 105 of my climber anyway, which shows, where are they? Oil pan Allen bolts, 9 Newton meters. So let's do that. Okay, let's get this thing on. So I'll start by put a couple of screws in by hand at the top here, just to hold it in place. Like so. Then I'll just throw these guys around it. You have to watch all this, you don't want to. Just a reminder that I'm doing this build dry, so there'll be no fluids going into this engine at all until I'm finished. So let me just tighten those up a little bit, snug them up for now. Well, not even snug, pre-snug. you go. Okay, so sadly my torque wrench is too hefty for this. It starts at 19. I need 9, so I'll need to acquire a smaller torque wrench to do this properly. In the meantime, so I can carry on work on the engine, I'm going to just nip these up a little bit in the order to which they're specified, and I'll get a torque wrench and then we'll do it the weekend properly. So, 1 is that one. Oh, wrong way. 2 is that one. 3 is that one. 4 is that one. 5 is that one. 6 is that one. 7 is that one. 8 is that one. 9 is that one. 10 is that one. 11 is that one. 12 is that one. 13 is that one. And 14 is that one. And they're really just nipped up a little bit, not put any pressure at all on that. That's just to make sure that's secured in the right order, and I'll torque those up properly when my wrench arrives. Jolly good. Okay, before we put the timing chain cover back on, back in our magic box of gaskets, we have these two characters, which is the breather and these two assemblies here. So I'll just take those off and replace those gaskets quickly. No big deal on these fellas. Just 2 Allen bolts, which I might actually replace those. Yeah, a bit of gunk on that. So that can only go on one way, like that. I'm not sure how many times these gaskets get changed, if I'm honest. There you go. Okay, that gasket's knacked. You can see that. Stuck completely to the housing. Okay, I spared you the clean up, but I've cleaned up this surface and this surface here. And I've got a new gasket which will go on that away. Okay, I'll tighten that up. There you go. You remember our magic box of seals and gaskets and the like? We got one of these, which is a Crankshaft Oil Seal. Not to be confused with a Camshaft Oil Seal, which doesn't appear on this bike. So there's the Crankshaft Oil Seal in the timing chain cover. Now tap that out and tap that one in. Just checking the flushness of that to the surface. That's definitely one of those. Yep. when this got powder coated, it obviously went through an oven and got a lot of heat attached to it. So even though this looks in great condition, I'm actually going to tap it out. But I'm going to tap it out from the back. Just like that. Okay, quick clean up of the inside of that. And to tap the new one in, which I'll do face first, I've got a nice big socket. Which is just slightly wider than the hole, which will ensure I don't knock it in cockeyed. How's that looking? Not quite there. It could be perfection. Could be, but it's not. That is. Okay, job done. As part of my endeavours to build this nicely, I bought a set of stainless steel bolts for this engine. They came with a whole set of different sizes. This is the one which matches the timing chain cover perfectly. So I'll be using new stainless steel bolts and washers for my timing chain cover installation. Okay, I have a magic box of gaskets. We have a gasket for this, which sits on there. I've beautifully cleaned the surface. Then this is these three studs here, which line up with those holes there. Okay. You're supposed to heat this up actually to slide it on, so I will do that. Right, I'll zoom in for this. This thing here is called a crankshaft ball. Well, it's a crankshaft bearing. Now I zoom out again. That fits in this receptacle here. So we're going to heat this up, this bit here, with the hot air gun to give that a bit of expansion to get it over that bearing. Is the plan. Let's do that. Okay, let's try that. Like a glove. Look at that. Beautiful. Right, and these three studs go on with these little hex bolts things. One. Two. Three. Again, I won't tighten these up at all. I'm just getting a little bit snug. because there's a rotational system of tightening these things up. And then these bolts, which are my new stainless steel versions of the old ones, just going all the way around. Right then, I'll get those tightened up properly. Okay, I've torqued up these bolts now. It's time to fit the alternator back on. So I'm just going to really throw it back on again, to be fair. So that's how it went. There's 3 bolts that hold it in. 1, 2, 3. And then quite a small one, which I think is a 4. Yes, it is. Just pop those in a little bit. Okay, 6mm bolt in the centre, just to get that one back in. Okie dokie, that's nice and tight. And that centre one's nice and tight. That's good. Okay, this is the ignition trigger unit. I'm just going to replace this O-ring. There you go. A bit of clean in there. Okay, and out of our magic box of stuff, here's a new one. He said, struggling to open it. There you go. And that will go around there like so. Beautiful. Okay, now I fit this below the alternator. I'll show you. Okay, there's an adjusting screw on the bottom, so I will make sure that's on the bottom when I put it on. Okay, and just tighten that up. Jolly good. Okay, for the purposes of this video, I'm just bolting back in the alternator and the ignition thing. I'm going to put in a modern rec instead of the diode board. So for the purpose of this video, I'll just put the alternator cover back on. And actually I'll put the starter motor cover back on again so we can see how the engine looks with its casings on. Let's have a quick look at that. Again, using new stainless steel bolts. That goes on the bottom there somewhere. Like that, isn't it? Is that right? you go, just to give you a visual of how the thing will look. Super good. While I'm at it, I may as well put this back on, which is the starter motor cover. Got the bolts for that as well. Yeah, something of that order. I think that looks alright. Yeah, we'll see how we feel about the bronze cylinder head covers. I have, of course, if you know from previous videos, got a black version too, so I might actually do it with black rather than bronze, but the bronze does match the tank and the wheels. Hey, we'll see when we get closer. That's looking nice, actually. Let's have a quick look around that then. That's nice enough, isn't it? I'm kind of liking that. Yeah. Looking good. Well, there you go. That's the engine mechanically rebuilt. I say electrics will follow in a subsequent video. Thank you once again for watching. Please like if you like it. Please comment or ask questions down below, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.